The few things that I believe were extremely important for in the first 9 years was, first, the turnaround that we're able to do with ATV and outboard engine. The refocus for broad product line on the high end and let go a few products that were not profitable. Also in Valco, when we announced that the ATV would be transferred from Valco to Mexico, it was a shock. But at the same time, the employee understood well that we had no other way out. And they accept the decision with maturity. They trust us. That was definitely a very strong moment. After we had the launch of the Roadster, which for me was an incredible experience. And in 2010, the launch of the side-by-side, which is complement to the ATV. And I am extremely proud of the strength of the Can-Am brand. Also, I cannot not talk about Ski-Doo and Sea-Doo, our other brand and Lynx that are very, very solid. Despite the up and down, despite the focus on the new products, we've been able to remain leader in those product line. Over the years, we have constantly pushed innovation, constantly pushed technology, constantly improved the handling, the looks of our product. And today, when I look at all our product lines, one by one, we are extremely competitive, and we're gaining year after year momentum and market share in all the industry that we are in. And I'm just came back yesterday from Cabano, where we test ride the snowmobile under heavy rain. And you need to ride our snowmobile versus the competition, and man, I mean, we are a leader, and I understand why. And for me, it's a pleasure every time that we compare our product to the others, because that's at the end what the customer buy. The most difficult moment, definitely the 2008-2009 recession. Our first quarter of 2008 was the strongest ever, and we had a lot of momentum in the first half. In the second half of 2008, we started to feel the slowdown in the summer, and we hit a wall in the fall of 2008. Our sales have dropped by 40% in 6 months, and we had to step back and look at the big picture. And we have done what was right for the company. We have reduced production, helped dealers to clear out inventory, reduce our expenses. And those decisions were needed. What was remarkable is the support we had from our sponsor. They were really, really helping to find solution. But the most difficult of all those decisions is when you decide to reduce the workforce by 2,000 people. Because you know, when you make those calls, that you're touching 2,000 families, you're touching community where those people are, and you're affecting the life of many, many people. But we had to do it. The people understand it, and we did go through the crisis because of the support of our employees.
The transition towards a Bombardier division and becoming a standalone company was a highly emotional period for me. In fact, the sale itself was a very emotional period. I believe that several of my gray hair were due to that period. I look at it in hindsight today, but at the time it was very tough. We didn't know who would buy us, who would we be working with. This entire period was quite stressful, to say the least. It would imply that we would have to create a new logo, a new image de marque for the entire company. And we were challenged to create this logo, having to be somewhat very distant from the current Bombardier logo. Yet we wanted to keep some heritage, because if you think about it, the origin of the sprocket comes from our division. So for us to shy away from the sprocket was kind of a challenge. And at the end, we created something that encompassed the heritage. We retained enough of of the sprocket, the original sprocket, but made it quite a bit more modern, because this company is going forward, and it actually had some kind of an opening inside the sprocket. It was not fully closed and pointing towards the future, becoming a company that's looking forward. It was emotional for me and the team, yet I believe that what we've delivered was a good reflection of where we wanted to go. And but it took some time for us to swallow the transition, and many gray hairs after. I think we were very successful with the creation of the new logo. The new design center, for me, it's actually I believe it's my 10th studio within the company. We've had studios in a few places, but obviously when we were sold and became a standalone, one of the sad things that I had to do is actually close the Saint Bruno studio. One of the promises that my new boss, José Boisjoli, actually told me at the time, he said, "Denis," he said, "I know it's a huge step back for you to come back to Valcourt. However, I promise you that I will, in due time, provide you with a state-of-the-art studio once again." A few years have passed, and we went back into the normal studio that we had, and we had a split studio in Sherbrooke and Valcourt. However, José, being a man of his words, what he had promised, delivered, and he gave me the go-ahead to imagine and create a state-of-the-art studio. From the modelers, from the designers, from the engineers, from the technicians, everybody were involved and made it their own as we were designing it. And so it was tremendously easy to convert and take ownership of this new design center, and becomes a great asset for us to attract talent wherever they may be throughout the world.